Good afternoon. Welcome, members and guests, to the Rotary Club of York, the 26th largest Rotary Club in the world, and a club dedicated to imagining and living out the Rotary mission of service above self. I am not Aaron Jacobs. That was mean. What kind? I am Glenn Miller, your club president, and it is a delight to be back. Our opening song today is America the Beautiful, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Mike Osherman. Our invocation will be led by Eric Chase, and our visitors will be introduced by J.L. Smith. Please take a moment to silence your electronic devices. Join with me in singing America the Beautiful. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty. Oh, plain, America, God shed your grace on thee, and bound thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will you prepare yourself in the way you're most accustomed for prayer? Creator God, we pause in this moment to reflect on the many blessings you have provided for us, including our freedom. Let us never forget all those who have given so much to preserve that right for us today. We especially give thanks for our hosts and speakers today, who for a love of technical hobbies and a nudge from economic pressure of 2008, led them to pursue their current entrepreneurial path and craft at South County Brewery over the past 9 years. We ask for blessings on this gathering of our Rotary Club and give thanks for the food we have received, the hands that have prepared it and served it, and that we may use this to nourish our bodies as we are called to continue to serve our community today and tomorrow. We ask in the many names we know you. Amen.
If I could ask the staff to please turn the music off wherever it is coming from, it would be enormously helpful for our meeting if that could be silenced.
I am pleased to have the honor of introducing our guests for today's meeting. When I call your name, please stand, and importantly, remain standing until President Glenn has been able to welcome you. First, we have guest of Sarah White, Stephen Askling, Becky Cox, guest of Bob Cox, Bob Hunter, guest of Bill Hunter, Bob Ruby, guest of past President Ann Druck, Sarah Thomas from the Uptown Club, guest of Jane Conover. Another guest of Jane Conover is Rabia Khan, and two guests of President Glenn Miller, Sarah Fletcher and Nick Fletcher.
Thank you, JL. Friends, we are grateful to have you here. While we do not have beer available at all of our meetings, I still hope that you will choose to return frequently to visit us and perhaps consider joining our ranks. And let me say, while I am grateful to welcome all of you, I'm especially delighted to have my daughter and my son-in-law here all the way from Sydney, Australia. Yeah. they do get the award for coming the farthest. And as my son-in-law's brother once said famously, it goes to show just how far Australians will come if they think beer is involved. Rotarians, please help me welcome our visiting Rotarians and guests. The first announcement for the day is personal. I want to express my profound gratitude to all of you for the many expressions of love and concern that were shown to me during my recent hospitalization and recovery. I don't recommend having a major health crisis, but I will tell you, there is no better way to discover how deeply you are loved and cared for than to face something like this. So I thank you very deeply for that. I also want to thank very sincerely President-elect Aaron Jacobs for a fine job of filling in for me during these 3 weeks, and to Lynn, as always, for her unswerving support for all of us, and for me particularly, again, during these weeks. Again, thank you so very much. Speaking of Lynn, our thoughts are with Lynn today, who is laid low with COVID. She is doing nicely, and with Becky as well, who is also recovering from COVID. She's about 6 or 7 days ahead of recovery. Sad to not be here and to be missing out on all of you on the beer, so we remember them. As all of you know by now, the weather sadly did not cooperate with us 2 days ago for our Love for Community event. The event will now be held on the originally published rain date of Monday, September 26th. This is doubly sad, as this is also, we have learned too late in the game, the Jewish festival of Rosh Hashanah. I am very troubled that this is our only option for rescheduling, and I sincerely apologize to our Jewish brothers and sisters who may not be able to participate as a result. We will do our level best to ensure that this does not happen in the future. All Rotarians are invited to a luncheon and a tour of the Life Path facility on Thursday, September 22nd at noon. Norm Humbler will greet Rotarians and provide the history of the organization and a tour of the facility at 367 West Market Street. Please RSVP to Ron White, either in person here today, I'm sure he'd be willing to take that, or by email with reservations. The Youth Exchange Committee will meet tomorrow at 12 noon via Zoom. The IDEA Committee will meet next Monday, the 19th at 8 a.m. via Zoom. Collection of the green bags for recycling will take place on September 21st. This continues the monthly program that we have had, thanks to PPE for this program. Please plan to drop off your plastics in the parking lot of the Country Club of York between 11:30 and 12 prior to our regular meeting. Is Martin Fedorko here today? Well, we'll congratulate him anyway. Our hearty congratulations goes out to Rotarian Martin Fedorko, who is being recognized by the Central Pennsylvania Business Journal as the Under 40 Award winner. 40, I have ties older than that. Unfortunately, we have leaders of that age, and it is one more example of the leadership that we are blessed with within this club. And so again, our congratulations go out to Martin. And congratulations as well to Michael Reichman and his wife Liz on the birth of a happy, bouncing baby boy. Remy Richard Reichman, who will never have a problem with monograms on his shirts or towels, was born on Saturday evening at UPMC York Hospital. Everyone is doing well, and we send them our very best wishes. Before inviting Joe Stein up to bring us a word from the PPE committee, this is a good opportunity for me to share with you what many of you already are aware of, and that's the sad news about the vandalism that occurred at our gateway sign coming into the city at the intersection of Rafton and Country Club Road and George Street. The board discussed this last Thursday at our regular monthly meeting, which just happened to fall, I believe, a day or two after the vandalism occurred, and action has been taken immediately thanks in great part to the leadership of J.T. Hand and the York Water Company to rectify the destruction as quickly as possible. So again, simply wanted you to be aware that we are aware of what happened there and are acting on it as quickly as possible. I believe that concludes the announcements for the day, and now Joe Stein will bring us a happier update from the PPE committee. Joe, all yours.
And Glenn, as Glenn had mentioned, the PPE committee since April of this year has been coordinating with CRDC to distribute those green plastic bags, which we collect every plastic under the sun that your regular curbside collection does not always collect. And so we've also had that pickup once a month at the club. What we're trying to do is gauge your interest in that going forward. If you have no idea what we're talking about, please take that survey. If you've participated, please take that survey. As the 26th largest club in the world, I would hope that we would have hundreds of responses. The link went out in yesterday's Rotary News email. It takes about 1 or 2 minutes tops. It's about 5 questions, but we're really trying to gauge the club's interest of how we handle that program going forward. That's just one of the many things that PPE works on. And so if you're interested in learning more about PPE, a quick plug, feel free to email me. We're always looking for new members. If you have any questions, see myself or any of our members after the meeting today. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. And now, without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome to the podium our illustrious past president, Guy Hershey, who will introduce our speakers and program for the day.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. It's my pleasure to introduce our speakers today. Sam and Kellee Terroso joined South County leadership team in 2019, and together with Joel and Jen Heaps, the two couples have worked extremely hard in challenging times to create the choice destination that we're visiting today to further the South County experience. Small startup breweries traditionally had the problem of trying to sell their beer. South County quickly had the problem of not making enough beer. What a great business challenge to have and to overcome. Sam Terroso was born and raised in York County, graduated from Dallastown, and then graduated from Dickinson College. Sam started his career in sales with an industrial process control company and joined IVRI in 2000 as a 50% principal partner. Sam's entrepreneurial ventures in real estate development, hospitality, and has several patented technology companies in his portfolio. He is active in the community as a basketball coach for Dallastown and a board member for various youth sports organizations. Kellee Terroso has been residing in New York for 13 years and hails from Chicago. She graduated from Ellis College with a BS in Business Administration and emphasis in finance. Her professional career consists of 18 years in asset-based lending. Then as an entrepreneur, she started an asset-based due diligence firm that she later sold to Bank of America. Kellee opened Bank of America's asset-based loan production office in Toronto, Canada. And then she moved back to the States and joined a merger and acquisition team for Hendrix Holdings. Kellee is very active in the community as well, serving with Special Olympics, Angels Living the Rising World, the Dallastown Education Foundation, and multiple Dallastown sports booster clubs. Please welcome Sam and Kellee to tell us more about this beautiful location earlier today and their craft beers created with determination and brewed with intent. Sam and Kellee.
Okay, I had to laugh because
hearing her bio going from Chicago to Toronto to York always makes her smile in a good way.
A little culture shock.
A little culture shock, as she likes to say, after 15 years still.
Yep.
Pull this up. Welcome to South County. It's our flagship location that's been several years in the making. I'm going to give you guys a real quick history on the company and how we got here to Crossway Drive in York Township. J.R. Heaps is our partner in the business. He is the founder and the master brewer of South County. J.R. was in architectural restoration in the early 2000s, 2008, 2009 hit. He lost his job on the brewer. Thought he was pretty good at it, and was encouraged by his former boss to go into the brewing business. And Joe went to Kennedale High School. He's from Fawn Grove. His parents own a small little industrial commercial complex off of Main Street in Fawn Grove. His dad built a 4,000 square foot pole building, and JR said, I think I can try to make a go of this. So he started out in 2011 on a very small system. It was probably the size of this speaker, to be honest with you. It's a little 3-barrel system, and he literally, it goes back to, it brings me back to memories that my grandparents would tell me about the vacuum salesman selling door to door out of the trunk of their car. He hand bottled the beer, and he went door to door. He had a couple of people who were interested in Lancaster County, is where he started, spread York County, and people started to buy the beer. And it's a I don't want to call it a fairy tale story, but it certainly kind of started that way, where he literally was living hand to mouth and trying to make it go. He was actually working a day job and doing this at night and the weekends. His wife Jen joined him, and they eventually graduated to a little bit larger system in Fawn Grove. Took on a couple additional financial partners, opened a little tap room, and started to grow the business. In 2014, he was joined with a couple of financial partners out of York County. One of them was a gentleman by the name of Kellee, who happened to be one of my very good friends at the time. And Kurt and his brothers helped JR grow the business in Fawn Grove. But as Di said, the issue with South County was never, hey, we have this beer, you guys want to come try it, and hopefully you'll like it and buy. It was, hey, this beer is great, we want it, and we can't get enough of it. So through 2014 to 2019, JR and the Key brothers did what they could in Fawn Grove. They added a canning line, they added fermenters. They did a couple of things to grow production, but always knowing that the goal and the game plan was to get to a much larger platform. And unfortunately, in 2018, Kurt got pancreatic cancer. He passed away in 2019 at a very young age. And, he and I had several conversations about myself getting involved and Kellee getting involved to bring South County to like I said, a larger platform. Kurt passed away. There was a need for an ownership structure change. Kellee and I were able to step into that role, partnered with JR and Jen, and the obvious and deliberate process was to build a larger facility that was in a better geographical location than the cornfield in Fawn Grove. And we didn't know where that was going to be. So we started to look, I born and raised Dallastown, grew up in York Township. We started to look at properties. We looked at properties in Red Line. We looked at properties in Pelham. And I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, Tim Kinsley, back in early 2020. And of course, at this point, the pandemic's hitting and everyone's saying, are you out of your frickin' mind? You guys cannot build a hospitality retail place in the middle of a pandemic. But we did it anyhow. So, right, Dave? We're all crazy to that extent. So anyhow, this property kind of fell into our lap. It was, it's kind of unique, right? It's off of 83, but no one really knows. It was 13 wooded acres. Presbyterian Senior Living was going to put a senior living facility up here. They ran into challenges with developing the property because we're sitting on a pile of lovely Pennsylvania shale and limestone, and that creates a lot of issues with runoff and the conservation district and stormwater, et cetera. So anyhow, we purchased, the property went up for sale, we purchased it, we took down, in short order, it's fully wooded up here, so we took down 600 trees. We worked with, Traditions Bank and, I don't know if Kennetha's here or not, but Kennetha and the York County EDC, we worked with the SBA on a 503 program with them, and, we were able to develop a business plan, get the funding in a very, very difficult time in the country and in the economy. JR actually designed this building when?
Oh my gosh.
Probably 2 or 3 years before we actually broke ground and had the plans done. If you would see the renderings, and we're in the process, again, we've only been open for 5 months. We're in the process of doing some more decorative things in here. One of the things we're doing is we're going to put his renderings and get them blown up and put them on the wall, because I will tell you, when you see them, they look identical to what you guys are sitting in today. We went out, we got the financing, we partnered with B&D Builders in Paradise. It's an Amish construction company. They have a sister company called Mid-Atlantic Timber Frame. So what you see here is vertical integration from B&D and Mid-Atlantic. Kellee and I and JR ran the project as the project managers, if you will. I will tell you that what we did, we broke ground in late August of 20, and we opened here on April 13th. So in short order, less than 18 months, we were able to put this project together. That's from having a fully wooded 13 acres to 28,000 square feet under roof here on Crossway Drive. The equipment, again, this goes back to building the right platform. We strongly felt that South County had the brand recognition and the following, that if we put the right production equipment in, that we could scale the beer and really expand our footprint, both from a distribution and a retail following standpoint here on Crossway Drive. One of the things we did, Schultz Manufacturing, which is out of Germany, they are the oldest brewery manufacturing company in the world. They started making vats for the Bavarian monks in the late 1600s. And they are still family owned today, by the way, which is a pretty unique story in itself. But we had to go through a process with Schultz. We had to get interviewed. They had to approve us. We are the 4th manufacturing facility in the East Coast to have a Schultz brew house, which we do have. We have a high-tech centrifuge machine, which allows us to spin the beer. It gets all the impurities out of the beer, increases our yields in production. And then we third brewery in the United States to have a GAI guide canning machine out of Italy, which is a rotary canner. And basically that took our canning capability from 32 to 33 cans a minute up to 80 cans a minute here at Crossway Drive. Production wise, we were tapped out at 1,500 barrels a year in Fawn Grove. We have capability to do up to 18 to 20,000 barrels here at Crossway, which is a more than 10 times increase in production capability. This year, we'll probably do 4,000 barrels and hoping to do 6,000 to 7,000 in 23. And then we'll go from there from a production standpoint. I will say without a doubt, I've done a lot of stuff. Kelly's done a lot of stuff in business. This has been the most complex, complicated undertaking of our life. And go ahead.
Yeah, with him saying that, I just want to add this. So when we were looking at the business opportunity at Fawn Grove, South County, they were at capacity. They had 4 employees. And then the grand scheme of things with this, being the vision, we'll just throw in a restaurant. That'll be great. Okay, well, how hard is that, right? Okay, so we go from 4 employees to the Schultz system. We added 1 employee for the brewery. Okay, I could do that with my eyes closed. We hired 70 employees in the restaurant. So we went from 5 to 70 overnight. That was crazy. Then the other thing is we have 5 separate business profit centers underneath this roof. So when you look around, you think it's probably pretty simple. There's a lot of complexity to it. So we have our retail section that only does retail alcohol, retail merchandise, and now we're going to do some private labeling in retail. We have the restaurant component. We have a manufacturing brewery component, and now we have a distillery component. and we also have an event space component. So when you put it all together, there's a lot of mapping that needs to go on. So behind the scenes, when I first said, yeah, this is great, 5 employees, not a big deal. I could do that part-time or not even part-time, books and records. It has become quite a full-time job for me. So I'm ready to go back to my retirement soon, hopefully, right? Hopefully soon. Yeah. So anyway, just wanted to add that.
I hear this every night, by the way. To Kelly's point, and I will touch on that, in my, I always call my quote, real business, my industrial distribution business, it's taken us 25 years to get to 60 employees. And to Kelly's point, we went from 5 employees to 70 employees here overnight. And we hired our 4 managers, and we're sitting down there in March, and all these people are filing in, and we're having this training session. And I'm going to myself, who in the hell are all these people? And what did we just do? Because it was, and number one, it was amazing to find the people that we did. We've got a great staff in a very challenging labor market. But it was a little unnerving to go, we didn't ease into this. People were like, oh, you should just open for dinner. Oh, you should just open for events. Oh, you should just do this. And we really jumped in with both feet. We thought the time was right. We thought that coming out of the pandemic and COVID and the restrictions put on socializing for the past couple of years, we thought the timing was right to open the doors, welcome the community. They came in, if you build it, they will come. They've come in, and we are extremely thankful for the response to all that. So like I said, 10 times production capability here. We had a wait list of over 100 tavern customers, so that's restaurants and beer distributors throughout central Pennsylvania. We are starting to distribute into Maryland. We are starting to distribute into Westchester. I actually have a meeting in a couple weeks down at the Link in Philadelphia to get South County into Lincoln Financial Field, which is exciting news for us. Hopefully we can make that happen. And the other thing is, as Kelly mentioned, our event spaces are open. So we have a room in the back called the Virgil Room that holds upwards of 120 people. We have the loft space. The room right behind Albert over there was originally intended to be a lounge for me to watch football in, which is now going to get turned into another profit center and a private event space for us. It's going to hold upward to 15 to 20 people. And we have had a bunch of organizations come in and do full facility buyouts. We're closed right now on Monday and Tuesdays. They're coming in, they're buying out the facility. I would be remiss to not mention our kitchen and the effort that we put in. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed lunch. We wanted to do things the right way, how we felt that we did with the beer and putting in the right equipment. So we put the kitchen equipment in. But the most important thing is we hire the right staff to produce the food, and we have an in-house bakery department. So the bread here, the pretzels, the pizza dough, the desserts, everything's being made in-house every day from scratch. And our intent is, and again, we thought we had plenty of space downstairs. We're now building a 600 square foot prep kitchen in the back because we're going to need that to support the event space and then to also support our full menu all day long. Right now, we run on a limited lunch menu and then go to dinner at 4 p.m. But starting in October, we will have a full expanded menu. And then obviously the goal is to open a 6th and 7th day a week coming up. So all that being said, we certainly appreciate the opportunity to host Rotary here. Any organization that starts off with God Bless America and the Pledge of Allegiance, I think you guys should sign us up right now if that's a possibility. So guys, but we're thrilled to have you here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed lunch, are enjoying the space. We really feel it's something unique to York, unique to central Pennsylvania. The acoustics are a little louder than anticipated here, which I think you guys are figuring out. But I tell people this all the time, at the end of the day, it's a glorified beer hall. And we're happy to have it here. The response has been great. And we hope you come back and enjoy it on a personal level. And like I said, our events are open for the fall. We're booking heavily for Thanksgiving, for the holidays. We've done everything from anniversaries to baby showers to class reunions to rehearsal dinners. And we're really looking forward to fully integrating more into both the business community and have this place be a real flagship. You guys have guests coming in from out of town. You have someone looking for a recommendation. We are truly a local company and we have local employees, a local vision, and we're really thrilled to have you guys here today, and thank you for that. So you're good. Any questions? Questions, or are we good?
Plenty of time for questions, and you get one, please repeat the question so everybody knows.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. What are we going to make in the distillery? Bourbon.
Well, I think we start.
We're actually so our still is from Vendome in Louisville, Kentucky. They have been the still manufacturer for Jack Daniels and Buffalo Trace for the last 60 years. We had to go through the same process with Vendome that we did with Schultz. We had to be interviewed, had to be approved, because they're very particular about who's going to go out and market that they have a Vendome still. We're going to start with bourbon and whiskey. We need to get that stuff in the barrels, but then our intent is to vertically integrate a lot of the restaurant requirements with vodka and gin, et cetera, with the clears. But our real focus is going to be on bourbon and whiskey. What were you hoping for, Scott?
Stay tuned.
I will tell you I'm a bourbon guy, and if you're a bourbon guy, you're very particular about aging and about doing things the right way. And I've watched other manufacturers, particularly one in Maryland the last couple of years, that they rushed their product to market, and that's a bad move to make. And our intent here is to have the brewery carry the load for the distillery so that we don't rush the product to market, and that it's released in the proper time after an aging period. So. You will. Absolutely. One of the things we didn't mention that we're going to be doing is that there's a for those of you that are going on the tour, there's a separate room that's built out in the manufacturing area. And it's for wild sours. And I don't know if you guys know anything about wild sours, but you can have kettle sours, which are a popular craft beer, but wild sours are truly made with wild yeast. And the reason that there's a segregated area out in the brew house is that wild yeast likes to migrate with normal yeast, domestic yeast, if you will. And that's not a good thing. So we're going to be one of the true production facilities that will make true wild sours here. And you're talking about a fermentation cycle and a residency of going upwards to 6 to 8 months instead of 3 to 4 weeks. But the intent is to also then use those bourbon barrels that we get in. We're going to soak beer in them for sure. So yes, Dave. What a Springwood hotel on it. No, I'm kidding. Okay. What are we going to do with the rest of the property? Well, we actually have plans with the township. So we are going to put bourbon rick houses out there, which a rick house is essentially a 10 by 10 garden shed that's used to age bourbon barrels in. The Northeast is actually a good spot for that because bourbon likes the change in seasons. It likes the cold and the hot. And so that's part of our intent. And then we're also going to be doing some outdoor recreational areas here. We're certainly going to, so the patio that's outside right now, the nice flagstone patio that's out there, there's an uncovered patio that's going to go out towards the parking lot this fall and into the spring. That's piped for a bunch of fire pits, Adirondacks, et cetera. And then the other intent is to maybe do some pavilions and other outdoor things because we thought we built a big place, but it's become clear to us that we can certainly use some other areas, you know, for rent. Yes, Al.
Well, considering I don't even drink beer, to own a brewery sounded insane to me, but we are still married after this process. So yeah, probably several, but he survived.
The real answer was 10 minutes ago.
Yes. Sure. Go over the event spaces again. So in the back, and you guys are welcome to go down the hallway. South County, JR did a really good job down in Fawn Grove of developing an alternative music following for South County. And he would have the bands come in, play in the venue down there. The public would come in, they'd pack the place. So when we developed the building, the idea was to bring that up here. So the room in the back is actually built for music. It's wired for that. It's wired for mixing boards, soundboards, speakers, etc. It's got its own private bar back there. But we are going to use that as an event space. And like I said, that'll hold up to probably 130 people standing. So if you're going to do open house, happy hour type things, we have high tops, etc. that could be put in there. But we've also used it for sit down dinners that can comfortably seat, between 80 and 100 people back there. Like I said, the lounge 422, which is the room off of the bar here, that's going to hold probably 15 seated for private events, 30 for, again, standing room if people want to watch it. It's got a 75-inch screen TV in there. It's got its own kitchenette, its own bathroom. So again, that will be for smaller private events. And then we've had other people who have used the high top communal tables that you're sitting at. These up here, seat 30, the ones downstairs, seat 30. We've had people rent out the entire loft. We've had people rent out the entire building. And we've had people who are scheduled to rent out the entire patio. And then the arcade space over here to the right also seats up to 40 to 50 people as well. Lots of options, yes. Anybody else?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Did I pick the right meeting to come back for or what? Kellee and Sam, thank you so much for your hospitality to us today and for the multitude of blessings that this is bringing to the county and to the community. Just one more of the many wonderful things happening in York County that we are so proud of. In honor of our speakers today, we will be presenting the book Ties Travels Abroad by Kellee Starling Lyons. That will be donated to the York Day Nursery. And maybe we can also donate a case of beer to them to get the staff through their day. Who knows? Next week, we will return to the Country Club of York and look forward to welcoming Jay Paterno as our speaker. Jay will discuss the monetization of student athletes through name, image, and likeness endorsements. That should be a fascinating conversation. Our closing quote for today: logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will get you everywhere else. Albert Einstein. Ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned. Thank you.